So, the summer holidays are upon us, and one of the things that people like to do while sunning themselves on beaches is to reflect on the year so far. We're kind of in the midway point and see how the year has gone so far. So I'd like to take this opportunity to reflect on how the cinema year has gone so far and give you my top and bottom 5 films so far of 2010. Now, I should say, to spice things up, I've bent the rules slightly. I have, for example, left out any films that were eligible for the awards season earlier on in the year. So Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll, The Road, even Heartless, because really that seems to be from last year. So here are my top 5 releases so far on this scale that I have drawn out here. Here are the months that we're referring to. Obviously good, top good, Friedkin, all the way down to really bad, Michael Bay. So in at number 5 in my top 5 films of the year so far, at number 5, and you're going to love this, yes, it's Twilight Eclipse. And frankly, I don't care how many of you complain about the Twilight movies. I love the Twilight movies. I've seen it 3 times. I'd happily go again. As far as I'm concerned, David Slater's done for the series what Alfonso Cuarón did for the Harry Potter movies. Going in at number 5, just live with it. At number 4, Ponyo. One of my favourite animated films of a very, very long time. I came out of it literally dancing down the street going, Ponyo, Ponyo, Ponyo. Can't tell you how much I enjoyed it. If you haven't seen it yet, give yourself a treat. At number 3, good to see a documentary going in there, Oil City Confidential. You remember we did a blog about this to say, do you have to be a Dr. Feelgood fan to love this movie? I don't think so. I think that anybody who likes really great, really inventive movie making could get something out of Oil City Confidential. One of Julian Temple's finest works and a real cracker. Now, number 2 and number 1, it was like this. They were very, very close. But after some consideration, at number 2, even though it's a 3D movie, although the 2D version is better, Toy Story 3. I mean, I would recommend that you see it without the funny glasses, but if you're going to see it with the glasses on, it's still a wonderful movie, which means that so far, at the midway point, my favourite film of the year, and I don't think any surprises here, number 1, Inception. The film that proves that just because you're spending $200 million doesn't mean you have to be dumb. But I know what you're really interested in is, what are the movies that I really haven't liked? The movies that are down here on the Michael Bay scale. So join me down here at number 5, Bounty Hunter. A wonderful comedy about an estranged couple who are handcuffed together. Remember that film Midnight Run? Well, imagine remaking Midnight Run, but without Robert De Niro and Charles Grodin, you've got Jennifer Aniston and Gerard Butler! And it's every bit as funny as that sounds. In at number 4, a film which I like to refer to as Leapy Ear. Or Leap Year, I think, to give it its full title. It was one of those movies where if you saw the trailer, you saw the entire film. I then had to see the entire film. And believe me, the pain involved in seeing the entire film, having seen the trailer, was worse than you can possibly imagine. In at number 3, and it's nice to see a horror film making an appearance here, Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake. Somehow they managed to take a film that was intelligent, that was smart, that was inventive, that redefined the boundaries of horror and turn it into something tawdry and grotty and nasty. And it's like that classic thing about dragging something up from your childhood that you really like and turning it into something really rubbish. Now, very, very closely contested at the top spot. At number 2, however, Pimp! Yeah, it's our Pimp! For Pimp! Number 2, not at number 1, because you know I never keep Pimp! But that is our number 2! Get straight in there! Worse than Nightmare on Elm Street or Leapy Out! Pimp! Which means, and I think you knew this already, number 1, worst film of the year, right down on the Michael Bay scale, it's Sex and the City 2. So that's how the year looks for me so far. Let me know your suggestions of top 5 and bottom 5. You don't have to stick to my rule about not having films that were included in the original award season. Give me your top 5 and bottom 5 of the year so far. And I should say that there are films coming up which haven't been released yet, which I know are going into my top 5. So this is not definitive for the end of the year, but this is the midway point. Let me know your thoughts.